Good morning. I'd figure we have some daylight today. Why not? Feels good with some daylight in here. Morning. Welcome back. Yeah, I held my AbbVie calls, so hopefully she continues. I'm in those March 17th calls still, so I like what I'm seeing. That's been a tough hold, but I've been believing in it. Did I brush my teeth? Yes. No, I'm not hungover, Sam, but I did have a good night with some friends. The last few days, my friends have been busy with work, and I've just sort of haven't really been able to do much, but they reached out yesterday, which was nice. Yeah, Tesla's sick. Love it. Spy calls sick. I'm gonna be up. I'm gonna be up a lot this morning. My IRA is gonna be up pretty juicy this morning. I don't know as of yet, but I'm gonna assume at least a few thousand on Tesla and Spy. Yeah, I'm holding. Yeah. I'll keep you guys updated. Stay updated in the Discord and on Instagram. That was Rod, Freddie. Rod asked that. All right. So, good morning. Welcome back. Yesterday was interesting, right? We did get a little intraday slip on the market yesterday. But I had a lot of belief in the 410 level on SPY, the 4135 level on the ES. I stuck to my guns on it, right? That was that retest level that I've been eyeing. I had to take it. I had to put some trust in my analysis on those setups. So if you follow me on Twitter, I was talking about it there. If you're in the Discord, you know. That was sort of the watch yesterday. We were pulling back to some key retest levels on the ES on the SPY. And if we know anything about this market lately, it's that you buy at the demand and you sell at the supply, right? So I've been talking about that, right, all week, and I had to put money where my mouth was. So I did swing some calls overnight on SPY and Tesla. I hope that we can hold up here because it should be a nice morning. Still holding my Shopify calls, and I'm still holding my AbbVie calls as well. So hopefully a good morning here. Hopefully you guys might be waking up to some nice upside. We'll see what happens. But, right, we're still not in the clear. There's no doubt about that. We're still not in the clear. Market's still under a key supply, so we'll have to see what happens there. Kasim, thank you. 1999, thank you, Kasim, as always, for all the support. I appreciate that very much. All right, so let's get started. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to the stream, and let's get the schedule going. So today, economic earnings calendar, jobless claims is really our main economic news this morning. We'll go ahead and pull that up real quick. So here's your main economic news this morning. Jobless claims at 8:30. So we'll see what happens there in about 25 minutes. So that's going to be our first watch this morning. We'll see if that changes anything on the market. So let's watch that. Tomorrow, inflation expectations, consumer sentiment, and that's pretty much the end of our week. Next week, this is going to be, this is what everyone's watching next week. So if you got some, if we close this week on some upside, then you have no reason to be getting, overly bullish into this, right? This This is protection mode right here. This is, I don't know what's going to happen on the market. I'm not going to try to be the hero that knows exactly what happens on CPI, and I'm going to protect my portfolio. That's what this is, right? That's what this should scream to you. So into next week, I will most likely be all cash on at least into Tuesday, because I do not care to swing things into, through CPI. That's going to be the big event. We'll have to see what comes out here, and then we can hopefully play some continuation Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of next week. My Twitter is on the screen, bottom left of your screen. You can see my options insider Instagram, and then Desi Trade Twitter. All right, so that's that. Tyler, don't say it's not much. This is not even necessary to send me anything. But I appreciate that. I've been wanting to do something like this for a while. Thank you, Tyler. That means a lot. I appreciate that. All right, earnings calendar. Let's pull that up right quick. Here we go. Boom, boom, boom. All right, so yesterday we had Disney. We'll look at Disney today. That's going to be a good one to keep an eye out for today. I like the Disney upside. I like the continuation. I also am watching Netflix off of that. So Disney, Netflix. This morning we had AbbVie, which I am holding calls in. It's up nicely. Pepsi, another one this morning. And then after hours today, PayPal, Cloudflare, Lyft, Expedia. And then that's about it for earnings. All right? So nothing crazy. Let's go over the schedule real quick. So Tesla 200. Yesterday I was telling the group, so I swung Tesla calls. And I swung Tesla calls... Not even because I cared what the outcome was. I had to swing Tesla calls. It was like, it was mandatory for me. And the reason I thought that way is because I have been watching Tesla for like 2 weeks now, and I told myself every single day for 2 weeks, what can I do if I don't get approved for options trading permission? I don't know what to tell you, Rayhan. You got to figure that out, man. I can't help you with that. I pretty much told myself, if Tesla gets above 200, if it holds 200, I'm taking calls, right? This is what I've been watching, and I have to take that shot, right? I think the worst thing you can do in trading is set up a plan, be confident on a plan, continue to watch something. Did I call that out at all? Yes, it's in the Discord. I think the worst thing you can do in trading is create a plan, build confidence around a plan, and not take it because of nerves, right? Not take it because of concern that you're going to lose money. Not take it because, now I'm a little nervous, right? So for me, at that point, after seeing that strength on Tesla above 200, I had to go for it. So I'm in Tesla calls. This thing's getting bright. And I held it because it held over 200. Apple 152, something that I'm watching as well. Shopify 50. Disney and Netflix continuation. Watching that. Meta 183. Snow 160. And then keeping an eye on TSM. All right? So that's what we're going to take a look at today. All right. So ES. I'm actually going to start on the SPY today, because the SPY was a little bit cleaner for me yesterday. And this was a good example of where I actually watched the SPY a little bit more than I watched the ES yesterday. So here was the SPY yesterday. And I was taking calls based off the fact of us holding 410. So if I go to this, this is where I took this setup, right? So I said I'm still sticking with the thesis of 410 holding, right? That's why I wanted to hold that up. That's why I wanted to take the upside play on the SPY, right? I wanted to take the upside play on the SPY because I figured if we can hold 410 here, then I believe that we should see a demand bounce. Knowing what the market's done over the last few days, every time we come back into 410, we bounce. When we get up towards that 418, we reject. So I wanted to stay true to that thesis. I wanted to not get nervous, right, when the market moves lower into demand. I didn't want to, you know, when in hindsight, we all look at this type of chart and we say, oh, that makes sense, right? It makes sense, right? You move back down to 410, you find demand, and you bounce off of it. We've talked about this so many times on this live stream where, it's difficult to get yourself to take upside when the market is moving to the downside. Most people, right? Most would think, hey, we're going to break this level, we're going to flush, and, I'm going to take puts here at demand. But yesterday, I told myself, you got to take a shot here. This is previous demand, right? You got to see if you can try to play it off this 410. If you want to get aggressive here, you take advantage of this downside, and you look for the demand hold. So that is pretty much exactly what we got this morning. So I took those 410 calls or 411 calls on SPY at that 410 level. So held very nicely. That's pretty much all we did yesterday. Nothing else really changed. If I zoom into the ES here, if we go to the 30-minute chart, you guys can see we're still in the same channel. Nothing has changed. We still have supply above, so you can't get too aggressive here, right? At this point, you got to watch out for this, I don't know, probably around the 4180s, 4200s, still very heavy supply above, so we have to be aware of that. But that demand down below stepped in. So we had those Monday highs. This was your Monday high around 4135, 4130. We came back down to it. We held that area pretty much all day yesterday. And then today we're pushing off of it. So a little bit of a higher low potentially there, creating a support at the previous highs on Monday. Wasn't as clean as you would like, which I think maybe got a couple, got some people messed up here. It wasn't like a perfect hold. It was like down, in the sort of chop zone of Monday. It wasn't really at these highs. It wasn't as clean as you may like it. I sort of wanted to see this not even break 4135. Like if I was to see a strong retest, I probably would have wanted to see it like bottom wick at the 4135 level. But it did get a little sloppy, right? It definitely got a little sloppy here. I think the lows ended up being like 4125, 4120 before this demand did step in. But either way, Monday highs into a support. I can't say with confidence that this is that clean, right? We all know that. This is not that clean. We have seen cleaner retest holds in the past, but I stayed true to I stuck to my guns there on that retest hold. So I think that's what you're seeing here. You're seeing a retest of the Monday highs. You're holding it. You're pushing off of it. However, I really can't give you much this morning. I really don't have much for you guys because look at where we're trading. I can't say with any type of confidence the next move on this market. Because we're just sitting right in the middle of a channel. So it might be one of those days where you just have to watch the intraday price action. Maybe if you get a pullback to the 35 again, you can maybe try to long it again off that. If you do get a quick push into the 80s, into the 4200s, you might be able to play a supply rejection today. But at open, we are in no man's land, guys. We're literally in no man's land here. So yeah, a little bit of a difficult morning, I'd say. You're just, I don't really know what else to say, to be honest. You're just right in the middle of a channel. So my best piece of advice to you would be to have your key levels and only take trades off key levels today. So I would say if you come back down into this 4135 level, maybe there's some demand bounce there you could take advantage of. If you do quickly pop into that 4180, or these highs right here, 4180. If you pop into this 4190, maybe you can look for a supply rejection. Maybe up here, if you start to see things get weak up here, maybe there's another supply rejection we could play. But as of right now, as where we are, where we're sitting right now, there's really not much here, guys. There's really not much here to go off of. So that's what I would. That's how I would look at it. Watch these highs. Watch this yesterday low. See if you can try to play something off those key levels. Am I selling it open? Probably on the SPY calls. Yeah, I'll probably unload a good amount of them, and then maybe hold a runner if things look good. That's the ES, and I apologize for not having much for you, but there really isn't much to go off of. It's pretty much the same thing with the NASDAQ as well. You guys can see here on the NASDAQ, you're pretty much right in the middle of the zone. You had this Monday consolidation right here, Monday, Tuesday. You had this low that sort of stepped in here on Monday and Tuesday. You traded right back down to it. and you held it, right? You held it very nicely. So Monday, Tuesday, big push, big downside, little bit of a just a absolute ridiculous stock movement on the stock market here, just like a total U formation, up, down. But the one thing that is true is this demand down here, right? This demand stepped in again. So that's sort of what I was looking at yesterday as well. Are we going to hold this demand? Yes, we did. All right, and we're getting a little bit of a push off that demand here this morning. But look at where we're at, right? We're just sitting right here in the middle. We're right in between 12.8, 12.9, and 12.5, 12.4. We're just sitting right in the middle of the channel. And at this point, we really need to wait. Maybe I would say today's going to be one of those days where you're going to have to really read the intraday price action. What's the trend intraday? Where can we find opportunities intraday? If you want to trade in here, that's really all you're going to be able to do. The only other option would be, once again, wait for this bounce, try to play a demand bounce off the 12.5, wait for this push, try to play a supply rejection off the 12.8. That's really those are the two major things I'd watch for. Those are the two major key level things you can look for. But trading here in the middle is going to require you to really just trade off intraday movement because there's really nothing major to be playing off of here. You could maybe like watch some of these lows here, like this 12.720 from yesterday. You can maybe see if that's where that rejection comes in, but that's such a short-term level that I don't think I'd mess with that. So 5-minute chart, you can see right in the middle. Yeah, nothing much to report there either, guys. Just those major key levels in the zone. And I think the one play really was just calls off demand. That's so far. Like if you didn't get in calls off demand, then you're sort of just stuck in the middle of the zone now. And at this point, I would say the best option is to stay patient. Stay patient until another demand bounce possibility, or stay patient until maybe a supply rejection of these yesterday highs, right up here around this 12.8. All right. So that's that. If we go to the Dow Jones, I don't think the Dow did much. The Dow's actually outperforming a tad here. Yeah, the Dow's slightly outperforming this morning. You can see the Dow is above. It's where's yesterday highs? Yeah, it's actually holding above yesterday's highs as we speak, the Dow, which is interesting. You guys can see right here. Dow is holding above yesterday's highs, whereas if we look at the NASDAQ, yesterday's highs were up here, right? That's yesterday's highs up there on the ES. Yesterday highs are right around here. It's rejecting it. On the Dow, you're actually holding yesterday's highs. So probably some Disney strength, AbbVie, little healthcare strength possibly is helping the Dow up here. UNH is the big Dow component. So yeah, a little bit of outperformance there on the Dow. Russell, just right in the middle of the channel. Nothing to really give you here, guys. Honestly, you're right in the middle of this channel between 1980, 1940, and you're just sticking right there in the middle. So yeah, I don't have much on the futures. I know I feel like I'm not giving you much here today. I feel a little guilty about it, but there really isn't much I could do. If I would just be pulling shit out of my ass, which I'm not going to do. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't see much to really go off of here today. I would just watch 41.35, yesterday's lows, Monday's highs, and then I'd watch this 41.80 supply that starts around here. All right. Let's go to Tesla. So, why did I swing Tesla calls? Here is why. I couldn't, right? If you look at this chart, right? Tell me what you see. What would make you want to swing Tesla calls when you look at this chart? The reason you swing Tesla calls when you look at this chart is because you had a previous high, right? Right there. This was your previous high. 198, right? You had a rejection here. You had a rejection here. You had a rejection here. previous high, previous high. And if we look at yesterday's price action, what did it do? Right? We broke. We came back down. And where did Tesla consolidate the entire day? It consolidated the entire day right above this previous rejection point. There is nothing that was stopping me from taking Tesla calls. I don't care if I lost. I don't care what happened. The fact that we did this, right? This exact hold of this exact previous level, you got to put risk on. You have to. That's trading, right? You have to accept the uncertainty. You have to accept what could possibly happen. But there's got to be something in your trading that you look for and you continue to consistently take risk off of, right? Something has to be the constant in your trading. The constant for me is if there's a break and retest, I'm most likely putting risk on the table. So it really doesn't get much cleaner than this on Tesla, right? Break, hold, consolidation, multiple 15-minute candles, right? It wasn't just a quick one. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 15-minute candles before Tesla finally pushed off of it. That's a really nice break and retest right there. And not only was it in the short term, this was also, if we zoom out, a break and retest of the previous 4-hour double top, right? It wasn't just that short-term break and retest. It was a break and retest of this previous 4-hour double top level right here, right? So break, hold, previous 4-hour double top, and the previous high from last week. And so that was it, right? And I don't see much resistance on Tesla, like major shelf resistance until like 225. Now, that doesn't mean that Tesla won't get sort of slowed down in this area here. It's very possible, right? But I don't really see a major supply rejection on Tesla until 225. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to be holding a little bit here on Tesla, looking for that continuation. Yeah. Textbook play on Tesla. Had to take it. Very happy I did. Nice upside this morning. Tesla could fill the gap, right? It definitely could. I would say if you do pull back, you're looking for this retest right here. That's your retest you're looking for. And it's possible that it pulls back, maybe back down to this 203, right? So if it does pull back to that 203, look for that double top rejection to turn into support. Apple. I'm probably going to be taking this today if we see market strength. This looks too good to me as well. So here's Apple. Previous highs from earnings right here, 152. Broke it, came back down to it, has held it for 3 days, right? We've been holding above 152 for 3 days now. And pretty difficult to not see the risk reward here, right? Your risk is down under 151. Your reward is for another big push to the upside. If we go out to the 4-hour chart, you can see this is not only just a short-term support at 152. This is a break and retest of a previous major 4-hour top here. Rejections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rejections here at 152 on Apple. Now, if we zoom in, what is Apple doing? It is holding right above it. Right? It is turning that 7-time rejection point into a multiple time 1, 2, 3 triple bottom here in the short term. So, yeah, I can't help but probably not take risk here. This looks pretty damn good. You know, this is where you accept the uncertainty in trading. If you're wrong, you accept it. You get stopped out under 151. You move on. But this looks pretty good to me. Definitely going to be watching this one today. Apple 152. Shopify. So I'm in Shopify. And the reason I'm in Shopify is because of this 50 hold, right? Got a little bit hairy yesterday, but I stayed true to that 50 level. You guys can see right here, previous highs, came back down to it, held it. This morning we did gap up. We're potentially above that downtrend on shop. And yeah, I like this 50 hold a lot. This is definitely something that I'm going to look for another push here to see if Shopify can push off this 50 on this this previous double top retest. If Shopify can maintain this 50 here, I think it could potentially move again. That's something I'm going to be watching here today as well. Of course, market's going to have to align with all of this, right? If the market's down 2% today, this isn't going to work. But if that market does hold up, then I'm watching this Shopify 50 retest. I like it a lot. Been talking about that one for a few days now. Disney. Yeah, I'm watching this 117.50 level on Disney. So here's why. If I go to the 4-hour chart on Disney and I zoom in to back here, this is back on the, what day is this? Oh, come on, tell me the day. Okay, this is August 25th. This is September 13th. This is August 11th. So back here in August and September, just keep in mind this level. We're going to move over it on the chart, but keep in mind what this level is, right? You see this previous support right here, 117.50. Previous rejection right here, 117.50. Previous rejection right here, 117.50. Now, if we go over, we zoom on over to where we are today. Look at this. If I go to the 5-minute chart, look at this, right? What are we doing? We are turning those previous double top and that previous support that we just looked at from August and September into a support level this morning. If we maintain 117.50, I would assume Disney can move higher. That's as long as you hold above 117.50. If Disney holds that 117.50, I would look for another potential move to the upside. That's a nice hold above a previous major rejection point. Right here, rejection. You are holding above it this morning. If you can maintain that 117.50, I think there's possibility of more upside. And in that regard, you got Netflix, which moved higher with Disney yesterday. So Netflix just broke above this previous rejection point around 370, and you have turned this 370 into a support level this morning. So you have a previous high right here at 370, and you've broken it. And if I go to the 5-minute chart, you can see we've broken 370, we've turned it into a support level, and we're moving higher off of it in the pre-market. So today, if Netflix can hold 370, right, if Disney can hold that 117.50, then I would watch for these levels to turn into demand here. Maybe Netflix tries to retest these highs around 376. That's possible. Right up in here. But either way, I would look for Netflix to hold 370. If it holds 370, I would look for that demand to step in for another push to the upside, and Disney to hold 117.50. That's how I would play both of those today. Yes, jobless claims will likely affect the market a little bit, so we'll see what happens there in 2 minutes. We'll do that. We'll look at one more before we get into that. Just wanted to point out Meta here, guys. Meta is just sort of grinding here sideways, but like we've been saying about the market, buy the demand, sell the supply. This is down at the demand. So if the market has any kind of strength today, you have a decent risk to reward here on Meta this morning. All right, you would stop out under 183. Maybe your take profits is up here around 192, right? To risk 2 points to make 7 or make 8 points, 7 points, right? That's 7 points to the upside for a $2 risk. It's not a bad risk to reward. So yeah, I would watch that. See if Meta tries to hold that 183 demand today. You might be able to get that thing back to the upside. We'll have to see what the market looks like, of course, right? That's going to be important. But you are back at the demand on Meta, and I would look to see what happens in this zone. The only time I'd play short Meta is under 180. If Meta can slip under 180, that would be my short, right? I like that for maybe a gap fill, an earnings gap fill under 180. All right, let's see what the jobless claims has in store for us here. Let's see if there's any movement off the jobless claims today. press the like button while we're waiting for jobless claims. It's a great time to press the like button. It really is. Heard a lot of great things about pressing the like button during jobless claims. All right, waiting for the numbers. Looks like we got a little bit of an upside push there, but nothing legitimate yet. All right, jobless claims 196 versus 183. Previous was 190. I'm sorry, 196 versus 183. Previous was 190. So more jobless claims. It's potentially bullish. I mean, that's how the market's been. If more people are jobless, that means the jobs market is weaker, right? Which is bullish in this environment. So more jobless claims than expected. Is that bullish? At least that's how the market reacts to it, right? So market is sort of pushing off of it, but it's nothing really, guys. I wouldn't be like, oh, we're going to the moon today because of this. Yeah, not much. Not much. Apple breaking out of the bull flag. Yeah, I love Apple, man. I definitely like this one today. This is definitely a major watch for me here. We'll see what happens. I'm definitely going to be watching this one. I think you're going to need to get over like this 155 really to clear, like to get clear of this move. But yeah, this is definitely one to watch, I think. All right. So a little bit of upside off jobless claims. Jobless claims higher than expected. That means more people are jobless. All right. The more people that are jobless, the weaker the jobs market is, which is technically in today's standards bullish. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. We'll see how long that holds up. All right. We did Meta. I want to go over Snow. I actually sort of like Snow today. Very interested in this one. So here's Snow on the hourly chart. Typically not a stock that I will trade, but this looks pretty damn good to me. Previous highs into a pretty major support here, guys, at 160. And you're starting to curl off of it today. So I'm definitely going to be watching this one today. Not a stock I'll typically trade, but when I see a setup like this, I get interested. So you guys can see right here, previous highs, demand. That is very interesting to me on Snow here. You guys can see on the 15-minute, it's actually a little bit of an inverse head and shoulder, right? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Do you get that upside move today? It's definitely strong in the pre-market. I will definitely be watching this Snow setup. I think this looks pretty damn good as of now. 4-hour chart, you guys can see previous 4-hour rejection into demand. Yeah, I'm definitely watching this Snow setup today. Okay, that's another setup that I would be watching. The final one that I want to talk about, we'll look at some other stuff, but the final one that I have on the schedule at least is TSM, guys. Don't forget about TSM. I know TSM's a little bit of a slow one, but I would be stalking TSM here. This is a really interesting daily chart hold at this 92. This is the previous daily chart rejection point that it's just sort of consolidating above this 92. The longer I think TSM can consolidate here above 92, I think the stronger that eventual push might be. So I don't think it's ready, right? I don't know if you take it just yet, but I definitely would be eyeing this TSM hold at 92. This is a pretty legitimate hold that's happening right now. It looks nice. Nice little consolidation that's forming here. So 92 looks pretty good. Right, previous high into a demand right here, right? You can see this rejection holding up at that 92 level. It's an interesting one. So I would keep stalking that. Yeah, Google very weak yesterday, and look what Google's doing this morning. So if the market's weak today, I think Google's the one you go for, and maybe even if the market's strong, you could still play Google to the downside. I don't know, but look at what Google's doing. I mean, it's pretty textbook stuff right now. You can see we had a previous double top high into a double bottom low, right? Double top high, double bottom low, And what is Google doing exactly this morning? All right, it is turning that previous double top high, double bottom low into a absolutely perfect retest rejection. I mean, that's doesn't get much cleaner than that this morning on Google. 101.50, absolutely perfect rejection right there of this previous double bottom. I'm cautious because if the market is up today, I don't know if Google's really going to continue lower with that. This is a bearish setup on Google. I would basically just say if the market is weak today, I think you flip over to Google for downside because that might be your downside play that's a little bit easier than the rest today because Google is very weak yesterday, might even continue today. If there's weakness on the market, maybe you flip over and watch Google. Maybe that's sort of what I would do. All right. Did we not look at NVIDIA? We didn't. We'll look at NVIDIA AMD. Yeah, NVIDIA's a little bit stuck up here. You need to see either a break and retest of yesterday's highs, right? Probably like 227, 228, something like this before going long. You can't go long into this double top. This just doesn't work. So I would either look for a break and hold above yesterday's highs for upside, or I would maybe look to even see if this fills the gap. This would be where I'd be comfortable to go long. I would look to go long at 220, 221, right? Back at this area here. That would be my long entry. Back at these lows here. If we can fill that gap today and then try to go long off a little bit of a overreaction to the downside, if the market's holding up at least, then I would look for that. But yeah, I don't know. You're either going to look for a break and retest of yesterday's highs, or you're going to look for a gap fill. You could try to play the downside in the gap fill, or you could try to play the demand bounce off the gap fill. That's what I would look for. But at this point where NVIDIA is now, the only people that are sitting good are swing traders. You're not really going to be buying calls at open into a double top rejection point unless you are just crazy. I would look for the break and retest of yesterday's highs. All right, let's pull up the ticker form, see what you guys got, see if there's anything good on there. We got a lot. Holy crap. All right. Costco, Microsoft, Google. We looked at Google. GS, Dash, AMAT, PayPal, Expedia, CL, CRM. Someone just continues to put earnings things on here, which they already know I'm not going to look at, but they continue to do it. Expedia has earnings. PayPal has earnings. Does AMAT have earnings? Probably. All right. Let's go over some of these stocks. If you guys could take a second, press the like button. That would be fantastic. Coinbase. Yeah, I think Coinbase is going to trade back down to 62, personally. That's where it should be. Coinbase should trade back down to these lows at 62, right? That's where I believe Coinbase should be back to. If you get back to 62, then maybe you can look for the long there. But until it's back there, you are sitting right in the middle of a channel, and you trying to guess what happens here is pretty much impossible. So you either need to see a move back to 62, or you need to see a move back to 75, channel high or channel low. All right. Microsoft, yeah, I like this. It wasn't a perfect retest, but it did move pretty close to the previous highs here, around that 265. You can see it came back down right to around 266, and that's where it did hold up, right? So it wasn't a perfect break and retest, but yeah, you can see previous highs here. It did hold that sort of demand. It's a little bit off. Would have been great if it moved down to this. If it was here, that would have been sick. I mean, that couldn't have been cleaner if it moved down to 265. Back above, I would say today you watch 270, right? This is what you watch today on Microsoft. Here's how I'd play Microsoft today. I would look to see if 270 holds right here. If 270 does not hold, then you're probably going to see a gap fill, right? Back down to like this 268, maybe 267s. If you don't hold that 270, right? If you come back down here and you don't hold this 270, you'll probably gap fill back to this 267, 268. If you do come back to 270, then look to see if this demand steps in, Maybe back at these previous highs. I would look to see what 270 does. All right, that's how I would look for Microsoft today. And then you just got to watch out for this 275 rejection point up there. Carnival? Carnival, huh? I would probably want to... Carnival. Come on, guys. Why are we looking at Carnival? $11, $11.30. Look for the retest of that. Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs is sitting right at this supply level. Yeah, watch out for that. 375 supply, right? Previous support. Rejection, rejection, rejection. Keep an eye on that 375 level on Goldman Sachs. JP Morgan. JP Morgan was a great break and retest. I mean, couldn't have got any better than that. It's over now, though. This is, I talk about this all the time, right, guys? It's over now, right? This trade is over. Where you needed to be long JP Morgan was right here. This is now a trade that if you get in, you are chasing. You are chasing because it has moved up and broken to new highs. That's the only reason you're interested now. Where you need to be interested is back at the previous supply, right? Back at the previous rejection point that has now turned into a support, right? Right here. This is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday of this week, right? For 4 days, it just sort of held above that previous high. This is where you have to try to take these longs. You cannot take longs here at the highs. So JP Morgan's over. It's over. Dash has earnings next. AMAT has earnings next. CL, oil futures. Yeah, just sort of stuck in this channel. I really can't give you much there. Pretty much just stuck. CRM. Ooh. Did CRM end up working yesterday? What the hell happened at close on... What is this? Okay, so it rejected that 172 level, but it is now over that 172. This is something we were talking about yesterday. Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's see if 172 turns into a support today. I like that. If 172 can hold support on CRM today, that's nice. Look for 172. All right, last but not least, AMD. Nothing. Stuck in a channel. Absolutely nothing. 88, 83, completely sideways. All right. That's all I got. If you guys could press the like button before you head out, we're close to 1,000. We only need 300 more likes. That's pretty good. 300 more likes. Can we get it? I appreciate you guys for being here. I hope you enjoyed the live stream. Hopefully it gives you some insight. Today's not easy. The market is pretty much right in the middle of that channel on the ES and NASDAQ. So I would be very cautious today. I would not get too aggressive in that channel. If you're going to trade in that channel, scale down. Don't get emotional. Find the setup you like intraday. That's really all I could give you. It's not going to be an easy trade if you're going to be trading within this channel. If you are trading within pretty much yesterday's move, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday's move, if you're going to get active here right in the middle of this area, your guess is as good as mine right in this zone. The only reason I am happy this morning, or the only reason I'm comfortable this morning, is because I took calls off the demand, right? That's the people that are winning this morning, or just anyone that took calls off the demand, or went long futures off demand or something like that. Because if I was, if waking up here in this area is very questionable this morning, guys. This is a very questionable area. All right, just understand that. I would watch the previous day highs, the previous day lows, and see if you can find reactions off those levels, right? Can I find a reaction off previous day highs? Can I find a reaction off previous day lows? That's where I would look to get active. All right, guys, have a great day. Thanks for being here. Press the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We do this every single day starting at 8 a.m. And yeah, Peace out.